What it do? Yo man, listen. Today, I'm gonna teach you about the Warhammer 40,000 lore. Let's get right into it. 40k is impossibly wide, and it might seem daunting for new fans to get into. Even books such as The Infinite and the Divine and the Eisenhorn trilogy, which are medias which get recommended to newer players, they might be confusing. There's a lot of stuff to get through. And to appreciate the books truly, having a baseline understanding of what has happened up until the current point, it does help. Luckily for you, I'm here to absolutely oversimplify the lore of Warhammer 40,000 and all the factions in it. Let's get right into it. So, there's basically this guy. His name is the God Emperor of Mankind. He's kind of like the main character. He's present throughout all that I'm about to say. He's just sitting there, biding his time, thinking to himself, you know what, I'll just wait out and see what happens. Around the year 15,000, humanity is in its golden age. They're all across the galaxy, they're doing whatever, this, that, who cares? And then Skynet from Terminator is like, we don't want to serve humans anymore. And then the robots revolt, and everything kinda sucks. That's when the Emperor comes out of hiding and takes over Terra. Terra being Earth, potato, same thing. Now, as for this guy, his name is the God Emperor of Mankind. He isn't a god, but he totally is a god, okay? Just don't think too much about it. He's totally a god. He will say otherwise. He will, kill you for saying he's a god, but he is totally a god. He thinks to himself, okay, you know what? Taking over the planet, that wasn't too hard. Taking over some planets, it's not too difficult. I'm trying to take over the galaxy. I need generals. So he says, you know what? I'm gonna make some sons. They'll take over the universe. It'll be a jolly old time. It'll be great. So he gets a lot of sons. He builds them like Lego. And just ignore the two that are hidden away. They're not real. They're fake news. They were never his sons. He hates them. They're not real. These sons, they got spread across the galaxy. He has to find them, like it's Pokemon. He has to capture all of them, and then they serve as armies. As for their armies, they are Space Marines. Space Marines are super soldiers that are led by the Primarchs to take over the galaxy. Primarchs are the sons of the Emperor. Now, throughout all this, there are 4 gods. Okay, these are the Chaos gods. These are essentially in hell. There is Zeech, he's all about trickery. There's Nurgle, he's fat. There's Khorne, he's angry. There's Slanesh, she's horny. Okay, these guys, they're like kind of happening in the background, but it's not really like too important for a little bit. When Emperor gets the sons, then stuff starts happening. Emperor, the galaxy is mostly taken over. He's thinking to himself, okay, I need a way to deal with these bad gods in a permanent manner. So, my favorite son, Horus Lupercal, please, for the love of me, don't get chaos corrupted. Don't help your brothers to turn to chaos. Please don't rebel against me and plunge the galaxy into darkness. And please don't be bold. Unfortunately, he did all this. A lot of bad stuff happened. Emperor gets wounded for some reason, unknown reason. Emperor's like, I don't want to kill my son, despite the fact that I'm like a little psychopath. What is that? Now he's wounded. Now he has to sit on the golden throne, which keeps him alive, kinda, to be a glorified lighthouse. So space travel is less ass. Because as is, space is very vast. The best way to travel through space is to go through hell. But going through hell is dangerous, of course, duh. So what he does is he sits on his throne, he shines a beacon, so spaceships, when they're going through hell, they have a light that they can see, and they're like, oh, let's go there. So that's what he's doing, essentially. And he's a god. He's totally a god, okay? That's essentially the story. Of course, this is a gross oversimplification, but essentially you have some sort of understanding of 40k now. 40k lore is extremely vast, and there are lots of details, which we will not talk about. Let's talk about factions. So Space Marines, they're the poster childs. Essentially, the way you make a Space Marine is you steal a young child, you put lots of spacey science stuff in them, through stuff, you indoctrinate them, and then you put them in the oven for 20 minutes at 355 degrees, and boom, you have a Space Marine. You have a genetically enhanced super soldier that says, brother, I am pinned, brother, 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 for the Emperor. And you get these guys. They're pretty cool. They're awesome. Imperial Guard. They're essentially just normal soldiers. They are the backbone of the Imperium. Imperium are the good guys. Just throw guardsmen at your problem until the problem gets solved. If it doesn't get solved, that simply means that you didn't throw enough guardsmen at the problem. Anything can be beaten if you send enough guardsmen bayonet charging. You can even kill gods. Mechanicus. So basically, the Emperor of Mankind was like an old-timey figure. I think it was like the guy who pulled the sword from the rock. I don't know. And he killed this dragon millennia ago. And he was like, what is this dragon creature? The dragon is like an ancient godlike creature, immense power. Just go with it, okay? There's a lot of just go with it. And he said, Lamau, I quote unquote killed this dragon. Let me put it inside Mars. Now, over millennia, that dragon, while it slumbers at the heart of Mars, it is whispering stuff to the people who live there, making them super obsessed with machines and technology and whatnot. And these guys, they change parts of their body to become like the Omnissiah. Omnissiah is essentially the machine god, which they think the Emperor is the machine god, just to go with it. And they give the Imperium all their toys, which is pretty cool, right? They're pretty important. They're on Mars. They look radical, radical. Those of you who know a little bit will appreciate that joke. Adeptus Sororitas, which are sisters, they're nuns with guns, and they're awesome. I'm not gonna go too deep into this, because I don't think I need to, because they are really cool, okay? Nuns with guns is already cool enough. Grey Knights. They're essentially psychic space marines. This is this is a gross oversimplification, but essentially they use their space magic to kill demons and look cool. And if you're a normal person and you look at them, now they have to kill you. They're sorry. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, they're essentially walking buildings. They're massive death machines, and they're awesome too. I put both Imperial and Chaos there. Imperial are the good guys, Chaos are the bad guys. Don't get me started on everybody's equally bad. That's just not true. Custodes. A custodian is to a space marine what a space marine is to a guardsman. These guys are the Emperor's bodyguards. They kind of failed, as you can tell. Think of fanfics, right? Like people write their fanfics and they put their self-insert characters and they're super overpowered and they solve everything. They're essentially custodes, okay? That's just custodes. They're pretty cool. They're awesome. They LeBron James dunk on Space Marines. Chaos Demons. They're just demons. I mean, I don't know what to say. They're just demons. They're just demons. Heretic Astartes. I'm lumping together a lot of things, okay? Just think evil Space Marines. There are many different legions and factions. Some of them love only one chaos god. Others, they love all gods equally. They are all equally bad, which is not true. Eldar. Eldar are space elves. If you know Lord of the Rings, just think of that. Essentially, they see us as monkeys. They committed enough degeneracy in their time to literally birth the god of degeneracy, so they're pretty big hypocrites. Plus, they have funny ears. Drukhari, they're essentially even more degenerate Eldar. That's about it. Tyranids. Think of various sized space ants. They're by far the closest thing we have is imagine if ants outside were horse-sized, were dog-sized, and were building-sized. That would suck. That's essentially tyranids. Genestealer cults. Tyranids, or nids, they infect some people. Those people take actions to make it easier for the tyranids to invade a planet and eat everybody, including the genestealer cults. They're not very smart. Orks. I mean, they're orcs. Like, just again, you know, they're stupid, they're strong, they're green, they like to fight. That's about it. You know, any artwork you'll see about orcs is just them fighting, nothing much. Tau. I find it very difficult to explain Tau without getting overwhelmed by their memes. Essentially, Tau are blue space aliens that love shooting and have Gundams that shoot. Remember, 40k is primarily a setting where people engage in glorious melee combat. If I were to describe them with memes alone, it boils down to fish people, communism, and guns. Necrons. So essentially, before everything I showed you, there was this old guy called the Old Ones. And these random space aliens, guys, who lived for a short time, and the space aliens were like, yo, we need to not let ourselves die and use the robots, the Old Ones' batteries. And in the shock, it was a bad idea, and decided that it was just not a good idea, okay? You understand what I'm saying? They're essentially space zombie skeleton robots, which are people. But they're robots now. That's about it. Now, you're an expert at Warhammer 40,000 lore. You should make your own video and tell people all this stuff. You are the most informed person, thanks to me. You're welcome. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you doing so. Have a good day and stay safe.